Hello guys and welcome to the stream. I'm Bless Spartan and I'm sorry I'm late today. Well, late. I'll probably be back a whole week late and so bad. My microphone's actually working this time and not breaking. And I've been quite busy, so I am really sorry that I didn't stream yesterday or the day or the week before, because I had quite a lot on, and yesterday I was with my girlfriend, so you know. You know we gotta do. You know how we do it. So, anyway, hope you guys caught the tournament. Was it yesterday or the day before? On Sunday, we had a great turnout. Over 100 of you guys tuned in to watch, and it was really, really good. And we're happy that you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't see the tournament, check through some of my videos. You can go to Codex Hell. He did some. And Uncle Milty, who also did some tournaments, and those live streams, the links to those live streams are actually in the chat. But with enough said, enough things going down, we are gonna get straight into the game and straight down to it. Now, before we start, I want to say two things. I want to say two things. Do I want to say two things? Okay, two things. Firstly, I want to say, and I want to talk about losing. Now, losing is a part of the game, believe it or not. Oh my gosh, really? It's okay to lose? And a lot of people seem to get confused by that. They believe that if you lose, then you are officially the worst player or worst person in the world, and that you suck. Just from losing, especially if if things don't go away, or say you had a bad match, or say things weren't just working out for you during the match, and there are a lot of mistakes that you've made, and a lot of mistakes that you don't know you've made. But people, particularly if they lose one after the other, they tend to start thinking that they are the worst person, and usually why that happens is because when you start playing the game, you get an adrenaline rush. I mean, some of you might start sweating, some of you might start shaking in the hands. For example, when I'm really into the game, I start sweating on my armpits, and it's a heavy sweat. It's not even just like a little. I actually feel it dripping down my arm. And I use Open Broadcaster, by the way, Demo, and that's normal. However, straight after you've won, after the game ends, you might have that sigh of relief because you've won, or you might have that sigh of, oh my gosh, I suck, I lost the game, I suck. And that's completely normal, because what it is your adrenaline levels are going down, and after a huge rush, you might start to feel a bit, and that's just because your adrenaline levels have gone down. However, it's wrong to start thinking, if you lose a game, that you're the worst. You mustn't tell yourself things like that. It's okay to say, okay, well, that match didn't go so well, or that match sucked. Okay, let me go look at why I played badly. Let me go look at why I lost that game. Don't start saying to yourself, I suck. Because there's so many situations in life that you're going to end up carrying that to your job, your when you can't keep a promise, or when you can't do things with your friends, you're going to start thinking that that you suck. And there's nothing wrong with losing. It's actually probably better to lose. Okay, it's probably better to lose than to win, because there's so much more you might need to know about the game, and that can only be learnt through losing. The person that never made a mistake, never made anything. And we're probably going to go into this a bit deeper at a later stream. Maybe not one to talk about games at all, and I'll show you an example. But if you just think about, just hold on to that thought. Just hold on to your thought. When you watch games like this, and when you start playing, hold on to that thought that it's actually okay to lose. Otherwise, you'll start hating the game. You'll start hating yourself, and then no one wins. Everyone loses. So we don't want that. Anyway, enough of my excellent wisdom. Let's get into the game. Now, what? 2 points. I don't know how many points that was. So one was in the corner. Anyway, in the blue corner we have Kvek playing as this teched out Chaos Lord in his what armor is that? Alpha Legion. And we have PHATE. I'm not sure if he actually is a low level player, playing as the Tech Marine. Now I know both of these players. I know Kvek quite well, but I don't really know PHATE that well. But I don't think PHATE is that much of a low level. Neither of these players are extremely low level. Both of these players are actually quite good. However, you'll start to see, you probably start to see a change in the mindset. Now, anyway, let's start. So, some pretty normal builds by both of these players. First thing I would say, if I pause right here, first thing I would say is that straight away, PHATE went to cap this point with his hero, instead of capping this point with his hero and this point of his attack. When you're playing as Space Marines, the best thing you usually want to do is send your hero and Tactical Marine squad out together. You don't want to send them in alone, or you don't want to send them separate, especially the Tech Marine and Tactical squads, because the Tech Marine basically does the damage of one Tac squad by himself. So he has one bolter that counts basically for free, and he's really, really good to keep. So you really want to keep your hero and your main squad together, which is what Kvek's done right here. He's actually done it quite well, and he sent his heretics to cap the point across the map. Let's see how this goes from here. So already, just from doing that, PHATE has conceded half of the map to a bash or to an open attack. However, what he is doing well is splitting his units and stopping the Chaos Lord from really getting to combat. So every single time the Chaos Lord charges a unit, that unit will move away, and the other squads will be able to fire him down. However, you can do that with just 2 units. Kvek really should have sent his Chaos Space Marines, who are over here, up with his commander, just probably to stop that from happening, or to slow down negate how effective kiting, which you just saw there, actually is. Also, guys, if there's a problem with my microphone, let me know. I noticed in one of the streams that I was literally like, and hopefully that's been sorted out. So, good bash over here by Kvek, taking out this power. Obviously, PHATE didn't know that was coming because he didn't have a scout over here to see that this is going to be under attack. So he is probably going to lose this generator node. And meanwhile, his hero is being attacked and he's distracted. So Kvek is, but just by doing that, Kvek has already won the engagement, or won the main battle. He's made his objective. He's going to take out this generator farm, and it's going to slow PHATE down. However, PHATE is coming out. Both players coming out with suppression teams, which are going to be very useful for shutting down units like these guys who are mainly ranged and can't really close in distance. But Tactical Marines, Space Marines are actually quite slow, so using setup teams is really good, particularly if your enemy goes double attack. Just watch out if he does go double attack, because or double Chaos Space Marine, because Raptors or Assault Marines might just be behind them, or your enemy might be planning something, say a teleport if he's the Chaos Sorcerer, or Sniper Scouts, for example, if he does go double scout and double attack. But that's not very often. You probably won't see that very often. But just keep that in mind. Suppression teams are very good for shutting down builds like that. So these guys activating their cracking bolts, which you can see there, the heavy, the red coloured shots coming out, which do increased damage to heavy armoured infantry, or even vehicles such as the Sentinel. Setup team coming out, gonna try and suppress, but can't see obviously by the blocks line of cover. Aspiring Champion coming up at a perfect timing, gonna try and shut down these scouts. However, they are gonna walk straight into a Devastator team, and it's gonna shut down. But the scouts come over here to cap. It's gonna force him to retreat. Now, what PHATE could do right now is force melee. Meleeing on retreat does 30% more damage, which is, for example, why Banshees are able to do so much damage on retreat and kill so many units when the units are running away, due to the fact that they're quick, they have power melee, and they're already high melee skill and high melee damage is doing 30% more on retreat. So just keep that in mind, and let's see if PHATE will do that. No, he doesn't. So that could have been maybe another unit maybe going down. Probably not. He did have quite a bit of health, but it would have kept him in the base quite a bit longer. PHATE going for his mastercrafted bolter gives him more damage and a high-powered shot which suppresses a single target, or single model would be a better example. Or is it a single target? Single squad? We'll find out. We'll find out later, won't we? Alright, so good flank on these tactical marines who are going to be shut down by this setup team and forced to retreat. Let me quickly just lower the sound so you guys can hear me. It's quite loud. Right, Chaos Lord's quite low, and yeah, it looks like it's the entire squad that gets suppressed. Oh no, one model, sorry. It is one model that gets suppressed. That Tech Marine escaping with minimal health, getting out of there. High-powered shot, bringing down the squad, not too much health, but one of those models are probably quite low, so if they do get focus fire, that model will probably die first. Raptors coming out for Kvek. Interesting 1-1-1 builds, and that model was taking quite a bit of damage, needs to be careful there. So as you can see, PHATE is actually in quite a bit of trouble. He had to bring his Tech Marine out with low health, which means that he won't be as effective as he could have been, just due to him sticking around longer than he needed to. Now these guys are getting shut down quite easily. Devastators, setup teams usually do, probably no, not usually, always do more damage the closer you get to them. So the further away, they will suppress if they were in the range, but they won't be doing too much damage. However, if you are extremely close, they will be shut down quite quickly. Enemies such as the Chaos Lords or the Hive Tyrant, although they can't be suppressed, they will still take the full damage. And quite a few players seem to get a bit confused by that, or seem to be a bit shocked when the hero goes down. That's because he's taken full suppression directly in the face. Now we do see a sergeant upgrades on these scouts. It's going to be helpful for like spike grenading, which Kvek does manage to dodge. Okay, well, almost managed to dodge. One of those models does get exploded, does die there. And these Raptors jumping this setup team. Jump teams are extremely good for shutting down setup teams, and one of those Raptors were actually shredded to bits in the corner. And on the opposite side, the same thing's happening again, except there are no jump teams from PHATE to shut down this Havoc. So they're going to be forced off. And probably one of the things that Kvek should do here, let me just pause for a second again. One of the things you guys should do is when you have a setup team, is once it's been revealed and the enemy has retreated, move it. Particularly if the enemy so particularly on this map, where the enemy will probably think, okay, so I know he's set up this way, that means his range of his line of fire is basically to this direction, so I can flank around him, or maybe I can come from a different direction to get him. If he sets up here now, for example, Kvek shuts down this entire side and prevents himself from being flanked. If he sets up here, sets up in this area, if he had a jump team, that team would be the enemy jumped straight away before actually scouting where it was, it will be shut down quite easily by being set up here. So just keep that in mind. Always move your Devastator team or Havoc team or setup team, whatever team they're called, just after engagement, so you can have the element of surprise against your enemy. These guys capping, taking fire. Didn't need to retreat there, but probably a good thing he actually did, because a high power shot was going to be coming. The Chaos Lord's going to come and shut him down, try and move him off that point, stop him from capping. No war gear on the Chaos Lord at the moment. Kvek has a bit of resources, could get a bolter, but I'm probably going to be saving for claws. Probably one of the best ideas, since this is a range orientated army. Maybe a shield would be better, just for, stopping him from taking so much damage from being kited. But we'll see what he does. Let's see how he does that. So again, the Chaos Lord caught out in the open, going to be shut down by these squads that are going to come around him. Heretics alone, which are going to get suppressed, and maybe a grenade goes on top of them, and it does. Oh well, luckily they retreated in the correct line of fire, so they didn't. None of the squad's members got killed there. And meanwhile, these Raptors are over here going for a flank, and Kvek is actually in a really good position. His map control. If you look on the minimap, just pause here and look on the minimap. He has he had the majority. Okay, he has the majority of the map's presence, or basically half. However, he's going to be forced off now just because not as many units are on the field, and most of them are actually retreating or healing at base. these Havoc's going to set up. Probably could have set up there and bought some time for these tactical Space Marines to come and shut them down. Or at least they would have taken some damage. Instead, PHATE is going to lose at least maybe one model on this squad, if he is unlucky, and actually lucky enough not to. Only 2 members on these Raptors, which is okay. It's fine to have only like 2 members, that's fine. If their main purpose is still for just jumping and suppressing. Scouts using their war gear. I think it's elite training, which gives them the invisibility. They take less, I think it's 20% less damage from incoming range fire when they're infiltrated, just to basically justify the fact that they are invisible and are hidden. Excuse me. So generator does go down for PHATE. A bit in a ballsy area, just considering that he has lost. Just considering that he has lost map control. And Kvek is setting down a shrine. Now, Corn shrines spawn bloodletters. Zenith shrines spawn give a turret, which basically does the Doom Bolt. I think it's called Doom Blast from the Sorcerer's vanilla move, that purple attack. And the Nurgle shrine does increases health regeneration. So here you guys can see the brown-coloured, what they called bloodletters that should disappear. Getting a plasma gun on his tactical marines, PHATE does, and that's probably a good choice just because he's up against quite a bit of heavy armor. Won't be as effective against heretics because it's not so much of an anti-infantry, it's anti-heavy armor. And the gun actually does more damage versus super heavy armor such as Ogre, such as Space Marines or an Avatar or any kind of Terminator. Oh, those guys going down, almost losing all of their members. Luckily, Raptors, their jump costs 60 power to use. And we do see a plasma cannon shot coming in. Very good against heretics and Imperial Guard particularly. Very good for dealing with blobs, and due to the fact that it's an area effect weapon. We do see the Zenith upgrade on this Dreadnought. Probably would have kept it vanilla until I kind of saw what was on the field. A Fist, now that he knows that there is a las cannon on the field, Fist probably wouldn't have been a great choice either. But I suppose that he was expecting PHATE to go for Razorback. You usually don't want to get an upgrade until you see what your enemy does, unless you know that. Oh, a good grenade on these Chaos Space Marines. However, they are going to escape with 23 health. Only 2 models, which basically mean they're going to be healing for quite a while. If they do run into a barrel, it will probably kill the squad. Going to be very this upgrade going to be very helpful for shooting down these generators. Now we do see PHATE using a high-powered shot to kind of slow down those Chaos Raptors. Who were going to get shot straight away by the plasma cannon, but they did retreat just in time. And we see 3 Devastator squads coming out from PHATE, probably realising he was in kind of odd position, and he now is going for a Dreadnought, so he is in a very strong position unless Kvek can find a way to kill at least the las cannon Dread. And we'll see if Kvek does use his globals, which will be a very good idea right now, just to rescue this Dread from damage. He is not out of the line of fire yet, and he's just standing there. Should just move out. He's still in the line of fire, and if that squad fires again, it is going to go down. Needs to move off right now. The squad's going to fire again, and luckily they are shut down by this Havoc. Sorry, by this Bloodletter in the corner. Meanwhile, Plasma Cannon trying to shoot up the wall, but unfortunately is on an elevated area, so we won't be able to hit. Scratch that. Scratch what I just said. But understanding how he actually managed to go up the elevator, that usually doesn't happen. But it does almost completely wipe out that squad, only leaving the aspiring champion there. And these guys are... Now you see a Dreadnought coming out. Those scouts do go down. PHATE not really focusing, and these heretics need to come back and retreat. Come back and retreat and heal this unit, which I'm about to do right now. That Dread, due to that damage it's taking, can't really help in this engagement, can't shut down this Dreadnought. However, he has realised that the enemy has retreated, so he could at least send him forward just to put some pressure on this Dreads, which would be really helpful. These guys, now this is a really, I didn't even comment, but this is a really smart placement. The line of sight is blocked, so any squad trying to fire on it won't be able to fire on it straight away. They'll have to look around and come around to fire on it, and that will probably leave them open. However, it's going to get shut down by this Dreadnought. Meanwhile, Plasma Cannon Dev's actually capping. Devastator is capping, not something you see every day. And Kvek is actually in a really good position and really far ahead. Look at the resources at the moment: 76 to 338. And PHATE's resources are quite high. Could probably purchase maybe another squad of scouts, since he did just lose his. These Raptors jumping in. These guys need to get out of here. This Dreadnought gonna come in to try and help out. You do see the Mark of Corn upgrades on these Havocs. Maybe Mark of Zinch would have been a bit better, just for dealing with it. But it is gonna get shut down now and get hold splash damage there, damaging all three members, which is why their health went down by quite a bit. And I do believe that auto cannon was a mistake. Like I said, the Zinch would have been a lot better. We do see power claws, lightning claws on his Chaos Lord, especially with the Mantle of Hate, which gives him health with every strike. Very effective if you want to increase the durability of your Chaos Lords, and now a shield would also be very helpful as well. Mantle of Hate. Sorry, that's my mistake. Mantle of Hate is actually gives you the life drain ability, which allows you to levitate a single model into the air, disables them from doing any attacks, and if done correctly, can be activated just before they retreat. Some units, such as the Chaos Lord himself, can retreat out of it, since he can't, for some reason, he can't be knocked back or elevated through the air. I think it's a bit ridiculous, but this Dread is going to go down from a plasma cannon shot, just caught in a bad situation, and now this Dread's going to come out of nowhere and shut down these guys, which put Kvek in a very bad teleport spot. He needs maybe to get some kind of AV on this Dread. Even another Havoc squads will be very helpful shutting down the Dread in this situation. All these members are going down, and it's gonna throw. Now you guys are probably wondering how that guy got knocked down while he was retreating. Models that are flung in the air or knocked back will throw down any model that's really unlucky. That's actually really unlucky, but will throw down any model that is retreating or in the area. So Josh's complexion. What are you guys talking about? Right. So it will explain why that was going to why he was not back, and now he's gonna die. Dread picking him up and throwing him through the air, and GG to him. He's crippled. He will not be going anywhere. Chaos Lord's gonna come in for a flank on this Dread, on this Devastators. Gonna probably kill one model straight away. That is ridiculous. Okay, there you go. That's what I thought. Completely shocked that model didn't go down. This guy needs to be careful, and this Chaos Lord's probably gonna need to retreat. Energy drain, which is actually really silly, really poorly placed. I know he probably did that to shut down the Chaos Lord and drain his energy, but he did just shut down the Dreadnought anyway. The grenade is friendly, so that was a bit silly. Oh, okay, and that's the end of the replay. So one of the things, the main mistake Kvek used there wasn't actually that his micro was extremely bad, for example. It was literally just because he wasn't actually realizing that his Dreadnought was getting attacked so badly. Obviously the plasma cannon shot up here, killing almost all of the heretics. Obviously cost him quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, quite a few mistakes from both players. Particularly with PHATE not scouting over here with any of his units, sending dedicating to one side, which means he did shut down the Chaos Lord, but there was only one unit there anyway. Probably should have sent his scouts down here, just so he knew that a power bash would have been coming, or to deter these heretics from attacking straight away, and giving them the space they needed. Right. So, hope you guys learned something from that. In part 2, we are going to continue with the next replay, and we're going to look at another game. But hopefully that was actually helpful for you guys to watch.